Okay. Continuation of last week. We're going to flesh out some ideas of last week because we didn't flesh them out yet. So this is going to be some fleshing. So last week we discussed how God is the ultimate good. There's no such thing as bad coming from God. It's either good that we understand, or it's going to be good on such a high level that we're never going to understand. Or sometimes we're going to understand when we're going to get older, more spiritual, let's say, when Mashiach comes. But then, if you think about it, it's still not clear. Why is it not clear? If a person, let's take the most severe thing that can happen. A person lost his son. A specific person. You know what? According to the Tanya, we should go up to him and we tell him, look, you're connecting to God on a very high level. You should be happy. Or something bad happened to us. We should tell ourselves, hey, you're connecting to God. It's such a high level. You should be happy. Is that what we mean? Is that what we're going to say that? And to say that is extremely hard and not Jewish. Why? I'll give you a simple reason. When a person passes away, what do? When a person passes away, you mourn. That's what you do. You're supposed to be sad. And if you're not sad, you're considered to be cruel. What do you mean you're not sad? A person who doesn't shed a tear on a loved friend or a loved family member, he's a cruel person. So on one aspect, we tell you to be happy. On another aspect, we tell you that it comes from God and everything is for the good. And be mourning. So how are we going to get some kind of understanding into this? So in order to flesh it out, I'm going to give you 3 scenarios, and we're going to break these 3 scenarios down. And then we're going to try to figure out what did God mean that everything is for the good. And by the way, in that there's many, many levels. We're not going to go through all the levels. We just mentioned the basic ideas. So let's start with them. There's a woman. She goes to visit her sister. It's going to be this scenario with 3 women exactly the same. So this woman is going to go visit her sister. Her sister lives in Boston. She goes up, she takes an Uber to the airport, to the Tucson airport, that is going to fly to Boston. And on the way, the Uber has an accident and she breaks her leg. Later on, she finds out that the flight that she was supposed to take to Boston crashed and everybody died. That's the first scenario. Second scenario, a woman goes to visit the sister in Boston. She goes up in an Uber. She takes an Uber to the airport. She has an accident and she breaks her leg. Her plane doesn't crash. It gets to Boston in one piece. That's the second example. Third example now. A woman who happens to be a ballet student who just got her first gig in Boston in one of the theaters to dance. She is going to Boston. Same story exactly. And she goes into an Uber, car accident, and she breaks her leg. She doesn't make it to Boston. Now, all the 3 women are now in the hospital with a broken leg. Is there a difference in the pain that they feel?
Yes.
I'm not talking about spiritually, physically.
No, same.
The physical pain of all of them is exactly the same. There's no difference. And here comes the question. How come when I came to visit the first one, she's smiling? The one that her plane crashed. How come she is smiling? And the middle one, is neither smiling nor not smiling. And the last one is devastated. It's the end of the world. It's the same pain. Same thing exactly happened to three of them. The first one is smiling because she sees that God is good. The second one is not smiling because she doesn't see that God is good. The third one is devastated because she thinks God is mean. That's the only difference. It's the same story. Having the mindset that everything is for the good doesn't alleviate the pain you're feeling right now. The pain they all share is the same pain. It lets you cope with it. It lets you cope with what life gives you. It's not going to change the pain. So the same thing, when God forbid somebody loses, the first example that we gave is somebody lost his son. It's not that the pain, he should be happy. The fact that he has a realization that everything comes. See, let's take another example. There's a 98-year-old grandmother who passed away. Is anybody sad over here?
Well,
Is it a sad story?
she died early.
Is it a sad 98-year-old? Is it a sad story? Nobody thinks it's a sad story. Her daughter, is she in pain?
Yeah.
Her daughter is in pain. I'll tell you another story. There's a 40-year-old man who left 5 children, car accident, he died. Is that a sad story? You know why it's a sad story? Because you didn't realize that it was already written on Rosh Hashanah that he's going to die. It's already decreed. God gave him 40 years when he was born. God gave her 98 years when she was born. There is no difference between the two. It's the way we view the world which what makes it sad. If one understands that when he was born, God decreed that he's going to live for 40 years, or he was born, God decreed he was going to live for 98 years, or he was born, God decreed he's going to live for 3 months, it's already decreed. And there's a reason for it. I don't want to say there's a reason for it. The reason for it is not good. There's a reason for it which you might not understand. But it's a God decreed. So now comes another problem that we're going to have after we understand this. So a person is in the hospital. He's with a broken leg. You should have a happy attitude. It's all God, brought down from God, and he should be happy, right? So the next question is, why does God command him to pray that he doesn't suffer? Didn't we just say suffering is good? Suffering is a higher level. It's a commandment that when somebody feels pain, to ask God to alleviate the pain. We're not supposed to accept the pain. See, this is what confuses a lot of people about the discussion we had last week. There's 2 different areas over here. One is accepting reality that happened, that it was all for the good and all from God. But that doesn't mean that if somebody punches you in the nose, you say, thank you. It's all from God. You get away from that. Or you punch him, or you protect yourself. There's no... See, it can work together. They don't go one against the other. The fact that everything is for the good, and the punch you should have received, and it actually was a good punch, that's one thing. That doesn't mean that you should tell God, God, you know what? I like suffering. You're lying to yourself.
Give me another punch.
That's right. So things that happen already happened. You cannot change. That you can come. You take. I know that God, everything He does is for the good. Maybe I'm never going to understand it. Maybe I will understand it one day, but I have to accept it. But from now on, I can ask God, God, you have other ways to do that. You're God. You can give me your remedies, your higher level, yeah, in a revealed manner, in a sweet manner. I don't have to have the bitter medicine. Give me the sweet medicine. Tastes better. Yeah, both the same. Okay. Today, what we're going to be discussing said that a person should always be happy. Why? Because happiness is the energy, it's the joy, it's the engine that gives you the power to fight against the evil inclination. Because if a person is depressed, if a person doesn't have energy, the evil inclination is going to get him. Now comes the question, what should I do about the fact that I sinned? Should I be happy? Or should I be sad? Over here, it tells me, don't be sad, be happy. Obviously, it doesn't make sense. What do you mean? If a person sins, he should have guilt. It's one of the mechanisms. And he should use the guilt to the better. Today, the Alter Rebbe is going to teach us. Let's take an example. I'll give myself as an example. Don't like to give other people, so I'll give me as an example. I went yesterday, not yesterday, for the past 58 years, I'm 59 years, how old am I? I'm maybe 58 to 59, doesn't matter. One of the two. For the past 58 years, I've been wasting my time. You know what's wasting time? Yeah, you've got time, you can use it, and instead of using it, what do? You waste it. Instead of opening a book, instead of helping the wife, instead of doing whatever you need to do, doing in the house, whatever it is, you open up the internet and you look at the stupidities that they have with their politics with Trumps, what's going on in Israel, what's going on in Iran, like you can do anything about it. Yeah. And you tell yourself, oh, I need to know what's going on. What do you need to know? Nobody knows. But I need to know. That's what I tell myself. Let me ask you a question. I've known I've been doing it for the past 40 years. I wouldn't say before. From the age of 17, okay, I'm being aware that it's a waste of time. Why nothing changed? Why is it the same? How come sometimes we change and sometimes we don't? And not only that, you know what? Throughout the day, you know what I feel? Once in a while, why am I wasting my time? Why am I an idiot? I tell myself this. You know what the problem with that statement? When you tell yourself, why are you an idiot? Why are you a loser? Why are you sitting here and doing nothing when you can accomplish other things? You know what's the problem with it? It's smugness. That's what it is. There's a little smug smile on my face internally that says, you know what, I'm a human being and I'm a good guy. And what's the proof I'm a good guy? Look, I want to improve. Look, I want to improve. That's the proof that I'm a good guy. There's a little bit of this smug smile every time I say it. And over here, the Alter Rebbe is going to give us one of the first rules. You have to know the reality. That sadness that comes from I'm a loser, that feeling, or I'm doing nothing, is the evil inclination. It has nothing to do with godliness. It has nothing to do. You know what it is? I'm a little bit righteous. That's what you tell yourself. I'm a little bit righteous. Look, I feel guilty. That's where it comes. That's where it comes from. And this is where we're going to go now. Before we go there, into that area, we're going to discuss we said already, we established last week that no matter what God deals you, you have to be in an area that you accept it and you realize that it's all for the good. God, you don't understand the ways of God. God's intellect is above you. Just like a small child doesn't understand why his father takes him to the doctor and the doctor pokes him. He doesn't understand, but he trusts his father that his father is doing it for his good. Same thing with us. We should trust God that he's doing it for the good. So let's start. We're on page 115, all the way, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 lines from the bottom. In the English, it's like, it starts, as for the sadness, in the last paragraph. In the Hebrew, it starts, acha atzvut. But the sadness, mimile deshmaya, from things of the world, from matters of the world, when things happen, when God puts things on us, occurrences on us, צריך להשתעצות בנפשו, a person needs to put all kinds of thinking in his mind, in his soul, להיפטר ממנה, to get rid of it. Sadness is not okay. Sadness is not okay. Because you know why? Why did the evil inclination want you sad? It's easy. You know when you go up, and we discussed it before, you know when you go on a diet? When do you break your diet?
When something goes wrong.
Thank you. When sadness falls upon you. It's not, I say,
Absolutely, it's when I respond.
oh, it's not when something goes wrong.
It's the response, and I give myself an excuse to do it.
Very good. And why? Because I'm sad.
Yeah, because
The sadness is a tool of the evil inclination to go off the path. The same thing, you want to be a Bainani? Every time sadness comes into the system, forget about being a Bainani. You won't be able to. Now you have an excuse to eat ice cream. Now you have an excuse to sin. It's hard. It's hard, God. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty for sin. I have an excuse now because I'm sad. I don't have the energy. But if you get up in the morning with a high, you're not sad. God, we're fighting. Let's go. It's a different ball game. So this is what he says. As soon as sadness comes in from matters of the world, I don't know, from children, from health, from sustenance, all these things bother a person. They can bother you, it's fine. What you should know, it's all for the good. And you should have that attitude that it's all for the good. Because if sadness will fall in, sin comes immediately after. You're going to cheat on the diet. You're going to cheat in Judaism. להסיט עצמו בנפשו, להיפטר ממנה, to get rid of it. אין צריך לומר בשעת עבודה. But here comes a problem. What happens if I'm learning Torah right now? I'm learning Torah. I'm thinking about God. And all of a sudden, I realize I'm a loser. I'm not a good guy. I'm not behaving the way I should behave. Maybe I should be sad now. Maybe it's a good idea. So let me give you an analogy. Think about a person who messed up badly with his wife. She's really upset and she's really got a good reason to be upset. Yeah. She's really upset and we did something, each and every one of us over here can relate. We did something wrong and there's a good reason for her to be upset. Imagine you come home after you really hurt her. You really did something to hurt her. You come home And you tell her, honey, I contemplated what I did. I'm a loser. I'm not a nice guy. I have to work on myself. I really, really cried about it. I went to the forest and cried about it for 3 hours. And I really, really should punish myself. And I really don't know what's going on with me. And I really this and I really this. What is going to be her response? I'll tell you what's her response. You're a narcissist. That's her response. You hurt me, and the only one you're thinking about is whom? Yourself. You hurt me, she tells him, and the only one you're crying. See, we have these narcissist things, both with the wife and with God. We're narcissists. It's a narcissist trait that as a human beings we all have. Instead of coming to God and telling God, God, I hurt you. I'm really sorry. We, to get out of it, you know what we say? Oh, poor me. I did such a bad, terrible thing. I feel so badly. Who cares about you? Who's the one that got hurt? She is the one that got hurt. God is the one that got hurt. Why are you thinking about yourself? And why are you sad? The sadness when you go against God comes from narcissism. You're not capable of thinking about God. You're thinking about only about you. Oh, poor me. People get a high from crying. I won't tell you where I saw it, but there was a political leader who once passed away. And all the youth, non-American, all the youth sat down with candles and cried. Not that they knew him so much, not that they felt connected to him. You know why they did it? It's a high. We feel sad together. A person feels himself when he's sad. The ego is happy. This is called pure narcissism. You only feel yourself. So over here, your person is starting to serve God. How is he supposed to serve God in a relationship? It's a marriage. With energy, with a laughter, with a smile. And instead of coming to serving God with an energy lift after a smile, says, oh, God, I'm such a loser. I'm so bad. God is looking at you and says, you're a narcissist. You hurt me, and you complaining about yourself? What kind of behavior is this? Sadness at the time of relationship with God is evil, is narcissist. It's the evil inclination.
So Yom Kippur, Hashamnu, Agadnu.
Excellent. Yom Kippur, when a person comes to shul, I'm not going to disparage, but we have to understand what Yom Kippur is all about. Thank you for bringing it up. Some people, the entire Yom Kippur, didn't think about God once. You know who they thought about all themselves? Pure narcissism, the entire Yom Kippur. And we're going to see, so what should you think about Yom Kippur? We're going to get to soon. Yeah? But just look how good the evil inclination is. The evil inclination is going to tell you, you're righteous. You're a righteous person. Look how good you are. You feel so bad. Feeling bad doesn't fix the problem. You know what fixes the problem? Having high energy. Not feeling bad, oh, I'm such a loser. You're such a loser, you know what? Well, now you said you don't have energy. And you know what now? You're going to sin even more. Do you know why I've never, for the last 30 years, 40 years, whatever it is, I've been wasting time. You know why I continue to waste time? It's because you know where I'm feeling bad? In the wrong time. We're going to see there's a time to feel bad. Not now. Don't let the evil inclination decide when you feel bad. You're supposed to serve God. You're studying Torah, you're davening. You know what kind of energy you need? Happiness, not sadness. You having sadness, you know what it's like? I'll give you an analogy. You really messed up against the wife, and it's your daughter's wedding, or it's your son's wedding. And instead of being happy at your son's wedding, your daughter's wedding, you come to your wife and you complain to her the entire night how terrible you feel about how bad you were to her. That's not how you fix the marriage. Right now you're supposed to do. Dance. It's your wedding. It's your daughter's wedding. Not think about yourself, how terrible you are. You're ruining the whole thing for everybody else. What are you doing? Same thing over here. אין צריך לומר, for sure we're talking about בשעת עבודה, at the time of service. At the time of service, you need high energy, no sadness. שצריך לעבוד השם בשמחה ובטוב לבב, that you need to serve God with happiness and gladness of heart. This is a time you need the energy. Don't take away the energy, or even inclination tells you, oh, do it now. No, it's not now. Now you know what you need? High energy. This is marriage. You know what you need to put in the marriage? Energy, happiness. You don't come to a wedding, you don't come to a relationship with your wife and you're all the time like, I'm such a loser. No, happy. That's the way you are. But what? So this is one thing. So when sadness comes as a result, let's put it, at the time of davening or a time of learning Torah, you know immediately it doesn't come from the good inclination. It comes from the evil inclination. It's there to not give you energy to fight against God. To fight against evil inclination. It doesn't give you the energy. But you know what? I'll give you another one. What happens? You're in the middle of... So this is when you serve God, you have to be with high energies. What happens if it's the middle of a business? It's a business day. You're doing your calculations of how much money you made or you didn't make. And all of a sudden, this sadness descends upon you of a sin that you did. How should you handle that? So let's continue. Ela but... אפילו מישהו בעל עסקים, even someone who's a business owner, ודרך ארץ, or he's just walking in the street. He's just walking in the street for no reason. Whistling down the street, and all of a sudden he feels guilty about something he did in the past. אם נופל לו עצב ודאגה, if it befalls on him sadness or worry, ממילי דשמיא בשעת עסקיו, for matters of the world at the time of his doing business, maybe now, you see, if it hurts your relationship with God, you shouldn't be sad. But if it hurts the relationship with business, it's not the end of the world. Maybe you can be sad over here. בידוע, he says, no, you can't be sad. Why? בידוע שהוא תחבולות היצר. This is the evil inclination. Why is the evil inclination? What does he gain from it? See, this is one of the rules we're going to learn about later on. One of the tools of the evil inclination that many people don't realize. The evil inclination couldn't care less if you sinned or not. He doesn't care if you do mitzvah or sin. You know what he cares about? I want you sad. Why does he want you sad? Then I can control you. Then I can control you. See? The evil inclination comes in the times of business, right? And it weakens the person to tell him, be sad right now. Now the evil inclination has opportunities upon opportunities to jump in and tell him, hey, you need this tub of ice cream. You need this, that. You need that. You know, all these desires that he comes to this. That we fail, we get off the diet. שהוא תחבולות היצר, this is the deceiving way of the evil inclination, כדי להפילו אחר כך בתאוות, חס ושלום. In order to make sure that later on, he can offer you all the pleasures of the world, and you're going to jump in. Why? Because you don't have the energy to fight. You said. כנודע. And how do we know this? That Rebbe, I'll tell you how I know this. שאם לא כן, because if this is not the reason, מאין בא לו עצבות אמיתית? Real regret? Real sadness? Why do you have it right now? Why do you have it right now? You know when real sadness comes in? Real sadness comes in only after you made the decision not to do it. See, all the times that I wasted time, and I'm going to continue to waste time. Do you know why I'm going to continue to waste time? Because I didn't make a decision not to waste time. Regret only comes after. I'll tell you a story. The story is about Rabbi Saadia Gaon, one of the Gaonim, at the time of the Zeu. He lived there, I think, around 1200, around that time. Around that time. Rabbi Saadia Gaon was a great sage. This was the time before Twitter, before Facebook, before all the things. So a person can still keep his anonymity, because maybe they knew him in his town, but they didn't know him in other towns. So every time before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur came around, Rabbi Saadia Gaon in the month of Elul used to leave the yeshiva that he used to be the Rosh Yeshiva in, and he used to go from city to city to stay in small hotels, just to clear his head, like you say. And he went to a small town, and he stayed by an inn, a Jewish inn. And the guy treated him tremendously. He really treated him good. All the time. He made sure that he had good food, the bed is clean, and so on and so forth. The room is good. And so, after he stayed in this inn for about a week or two, just before he was about to go back, somebody saw him in the street that recognized him, and the entire city, the entire town, came out to set him off on his back to yeshiva. And the innkeeper realized that for the last 2 weeks, who was there? Rabbi Saadia Gaon. So the innkeeper fell on his knees, and he started crying, and he tells Rabbi Saadia Gaon, forgive me. So he told him, forgive you for what? I've never been treated better. You're the best host I ever had. What should I continue? So he told him, no, you don't understand. If I knew you were Saadia Gaon, how much better I would have treated you. This is tshuva. What does it mean, tshuva? See, the reason why he saw a person needs to be on a higher level in order to do tshuva, in order to really repent. What do I mean he needs to be on a higher level? If a person is, if I ate ice cream this morning and I cheated on my diet, why wouldn't I cheat on my diet again yesterday? Did I change? Or tomorrow? Or the next day? I'm going to cheat on my diet again. You know what determines on cheating on my diet? There's only one thing. How much energy I have to fight my evil inclination. At a day, I'm not going to have so much energy. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to cheat on my diet. I didn't change. There was no change in me. Zero change. Just give me the same sadness, the same trouble, the same mindset. I'll cheat again. I'm going to cheat. This is who I am. I'm a cheater. I'm a cheater on diets. I'm a cheater on Judaism. This is who I am. unless I change. The change has to come before, otherwise it's not going to help. This is what it says. מאין בא לו עצבות? Why did you become sad? Why am I sad every time when I waste time? אמיתית? You cannot call it real sadness. You know why? Because look, who am I thinking about? Me. You know how I know that I'm thinking about God? If I'm thinking about Him. So on Yom Kippur, coming to your question, how does a person know if he's a narcissist or actually thinks about God? If he feels God's pain, at least, then he's not a narcissist. If you only feel your pain, you're a narcissist. The entire Yom Kippur was one narcissist idea. The entire Yom Kippur was a sin. That's the whole idea of Yom Kippur. The whole idea of Yom Kippur, it's like coming to the wife and only thinking about yourself. No, feel her pain. She was hurt. You did something wrong to her. And instead of talking about what you did to her, you're talking about, oh, what I did to me. Oh, I'm such a loser. I'm such a bad guy. See, this is what he's going to say. מחמת אהבת השם או יראתו באמצע עסקיו. It is impossible in the middle of your business that you're thinking about the love of God or the awe of God. Because for that, you need to contemplate godliness. And over here, you didn't contemplate godliness. You know who you felt? You didn't feel God. You didn't feel the good inclination. You felt your own narcissism. Oh, I'm such a bad guy. Like every time I waste time, you know what I feel? I feel my own narcissism. How I waste time. We are in page 117, 5 lines from the top. After the full stop. והנה, בין שנפלה לו העצבות בשעת עבודה בתלמוד תורה, whether the sadness can fall upon a person when he learns Torah, or בתפילה, or when he davens, ובין שנפלה לו שלא בשעת עבודה, whether it fell not at a time of service, זאת ישים על ליבו. This you're going to put into your heart. I'm not a narcissist. This is not the time to feel sadness. This is the time to have energy, to put energy into the relationship, like God wants, like the wife wants. כי אין הזמן גרמה כעת לעצבות אמיתית. Now is not the time to be sad. אפילו לדאגת עוונות חמורים חס ושלום. Even if you sinned, and it was great sins, now is not the time. During the day, when it's time of service of God or the time of business, now is not the time. And we discussed already in the previous chapter, when is the time? The time is at midnight, Tikkun Chatzot. If you remember, person has to wake up, Tikkun Chatzot. We don't do it now. We'll discuss what it means. In other words, let's just say it practically. Whenever sadness comes, not on its allotted time, its evil inclination. You know when? You have to set up a time. Usually it's better to be at night, in the end of the day, before you go to sleep. Set up a time to take an accounting. You decide. If it comes because of your decision, it's appropriate sadness. If it just comes because it came, it's the evil inclination. You control the sadness should not control you. That's the idea. You dictate. And we're going to see, we're going to minimize the time. It has to be a minimized time, and it has to be for a reason. If you felt sadness and nothing good came out of it, then what did you do? There has to be greater happiness coming out of the sadness than you were before. Otherwise, don't feel sad. Sadness is only to fix the situation. You know when sadness is appropriate? When you come to your wife and you said, I know I hurt you. I want to make the relationship better. Then sadness is appropriate. But sadness, I'm such a bad guy, and the situation stays exactly the same way for years and years and years and years, what did that accomplish? And it usually is, sadness goes away after you make a decision not to do that particular sin. By the way, it doesn't have to be a decision yes or no. The decision can be, I have a plan how to diminish the amount of times I sin. Even that's good. You don't have to go from 0 to 100 in 1 second. It can be in steps. That's fine. But there has to be a plan. And you have to have in mind how I'm going to get there. You have to see a way. Because just to tell you see, what happens in Yom Kippur to us? Think about what happens. You come in front of God and say, God, I'll be a good boy. We don't. I'm telling you, every time I have in Yom Kippur, I talk about myself, I'm not going to talk about you. Every time I stand on Yom Kippur in front of God and tell him, God, I'm going to be a good boy, I feel it. I think I am going to be a good boy for that second. But between you and me, I'm not. I'm not a good boy afterwards. Immediately later, 5 minutes later, it's gone. Maybe 5 days later, doesn't matter. But that's the idea. It's gone. 5 weeks for sure, it's gone. What's going on over here? Why is it? Because I didn't have a plan what I'm going to change. The plan has to be, I am sad for a reason. What's the reason? I have to do an act. What's the act? Now I come up with an act that's going to change you, that's going to put you in a different level. Now the sadness is for a good reason. Otherwise, sadness is evil. רק לזאת, for this, צריך קביעות עיתים. You need to establish a time. ושעת הכושר, in a proper, auspicious timing. And you need to sit ביישוב הדעת. It cannot just come out of the blue, an emotion, out of the blue. No. You have to think about it. You have to actively seek it, a plan. What am I going to do about it? I am lacking here and here and here and here and here. Yeah, I'm a loser. Now, what do I do about it? How am I going to stop myself being a loser? And how? And this is the how. Notice the idea. The idea here, again is, are you thinking about yourself or are you thinking about God? להתבונן בגדולת השם אשר חטא לו. A person has to think about the greatness of God that he sinned against. Again, what's the contemplation? The contemplation is not, ooh, to me, how bad am I? The contemplation is, I hurt him. He's sad. He's upset. He's not happy. That's the contemplation. Not me, him. כדי שעל ידי זה, so that in order for this, יהיה ליבו נשבר באמת, then your heart will really break. Not like these fake breaks of the narcissist that we're so used to. במרירות אמיתי, with true bitterness. וכמבואר את זו במקום אחר, like it is explained in another place, we're going to discuss this also in later chapters, we leave it for there. ושם נתבאר גם כן, over there we're going to discuss, even there, that there's an idea of breakage of heart, contemplate how you hurt the relationship with God, how he's hurting, even then, immediately later, you need to seek happiness. Why happiness? כי מיד אחר שנשבר ליבו, because immediately after you broke your heart by thinking how you hurt the wife or how you hurt God, בעתים קבועים ההם, in those established time that we discussed, אזי immediately later, as soon as you have a plan and you realize what you did to God, you know what's the next thing? Don't stay sad, leave an inclination. Now comes, I see a way how to fix this relationship. And because I see a way, you know what it should bring? Great happiness, great joy. Even more than you had before. Yasir ha'etzev milibo legamre. Remove the sadness from his heart completely. Ve'ya'amin emunah shlema, and he is going to believe with a complete heart. Ki Hashem e'evir chat'ato. Because you know what? God is not like your wife. Your wife will remember forever. God forgets completely.
Forgets or forgives?
Forgets completely. We're going to discuss that also. Very good question. We're going to discuss when he does forget. Shari Yechud ve'emunah discusses all these stages. It's like far away from us. We're going to go through all these stages, but very good question. He'evir, ki Hashem e'evir chatatato. You know what? Yom Kippur, there's levels, since you brought this question, there's levels of relationship with the wife and a relationship with God. When God lechaper, to atone, means there is no more record. What does it mean there is no more record? It means God doesn't remember the sin. There are times for some sins that the atonement waits until Yom Kippur. For some sins, the atonement waits until sufferings, even after Yom Kippur. But the point is that for sins, when it comes to God, God atones it. Mechaper. Mechaper means what? It's a complete slate. You know what it's like? Completely clean. Imagine this. You have a heavy foot on the gas pedal. And you go down to Phoenix, and you got a good car, and every time you go 120. And every week, the same cup catches you in the same point. So the first week, he says, look, you got a nice car, I understand. You know what? I'll even give you a warning. Go. The second week, he says, I gave you a warning last week. Now I'm going to give you a ticket. The third week, he said, now I'm going to take your car. The fourth week, he said, I'm going to take your license also. Every time, it's complete. See, with God, it doesn't work this way. You sinned, you went 120, it's a clear slate. God says, drive again. And you sinned again, it's 120, God says, drive again. And we're going to see, later on, we're going to discuss, but it gives problems. The person is never going to learn, is going to never change his ways. And we'll have to discuss it then. How he does change his way, doesn't change his way, why does God behave such a manner? Many times. He'evir chatato, ve'rav lisloach, and God is going to forgives and forgives again. This is rav lisloach. He forgives again and again and again and again and again and again. Not like the wife. The wife is once, twice, and even if she forgives, she remembers. It's not a clean slate. You'll hear about it. No matter what happens, no matter what fight you're going to have, you remember 20 years ago what you did to me? God doesn't remember 20 years ago.
I don't know if he doesn't remember or doesn't take it into consideration.
Doesn't remember. We're going to discuss this. It completely doesn't remember. He has no...
Faulty, it's like a bad computer.
So then we're going to... We will discuss it when we get to it. It is problematic because it doesn't make you be able to do tshuva. But we're going to see how we're going to solve this problem later on. V'rav lisloach. V'zohi ha-simcha ha'amitit. And this is the real happiness. Haba achar ha'etzev. That comes after the sadness. In other words, even if there is a sadness, the sadness is there in what? To reach a higher happiness. Sadness on its own is always evil. Sadness in its all, if you think about it, the way we usually do sadness is woe to me. I'm such a bad guy. It's a narcissist trait to no end. A lot of just by the way, women don't have these problems as much as men. Women are very sensitive to other people's emotions. And when they hurt other people's emotion, they're very sensitive to it. Men, when they hurt their wives, you know and they feel bad, you know who they feel bad for? They feel bad for themselves about how bad I feel that I hurt my wife. That's a narcissist manly trait. And that's the way we act with God. And that comes of the evil inclination. Up to him.